Janet can't find the right colors to go with her musical fabric. Joan is making a memory quilt in honor of her best friend. And Linda is struggling with a directional print. Let's help them out. Hi, it's Fran Morgan with Fabric Café, and I'm your fabric matchmaker. Have you ever gotten a fabric because the theme made you think of someone special? Or maybe you got it because it brought back fond memories. These novelty prints can sometimes be super tricky to work with. Today, all of our participants have special novelty prints that hold a dear place in their heart, but they're struggling to match them. We're going to help them finally match those special fabrics. Let's look at the first one. Now, Janet sent in our first fabric, and wow, isn't this so fun and bold? I just love it. We have a black background here, and we have all of these musical notes and all of these lines just moving all over the fabric. So much movement, so much bold color, lots of little starburst on here. It is so much fun. Let's read and find out what Janet has to say about her fabric. Janet writes, "All three of my grandchildren have been involved in their town's marching band, and every step of that journey has been a joy to help with and watch them grow. Band parents and grandparents put together a pasta dinner every year with a silent auction to raise money for new band instruments, uniforms, and travel to competitions. My youngest granddaughter loves to sew with me, and since she's about to graduate, I thought it would be a great idea to make a musical quilt to donate to the fundraiser as a final send-off from the family. I can't seem to find anything that matches this musical fabric and all of its different colors. It would mean so much to both of us if you could help save this project." Well, Janet, I think we have just the thing. Let's go check out the quilt. This is the Perspectives pattern, and Janet, I think your fabric's gonna look amazing in this. We have a nice big block here that's rectangular with a stitch and flip corner on opposite sides. I think your fabric's gonna be great in this. Now, our alternate block is a really quick block. We have a half square triangle and a rectangle, just a solid piece here in the middle, and then another strip just like this with the half square triangle that's just rotated. It's gonna go together really fast. I think we've got some great fabric for you, and it's gonna be a really fun quilt when it's finished. Now, Janet, I had so much fun with your fabric because I was able to find some additional music-themed fabric to go with it, which I think is perfect. It's the appropriate scale, and it really works with yours. But we're gonna start with your fabric, and we've put it in the #1 position. Now, your fabric is a larger print. It is tossed, which is great, so you've got lots of options there. But it's really bold, and we really wanted to show it off. So we've put it in our Perspectives pattern in the focus position, which goes right here, and it's really gonna show that off well. Now, I used a tone-on-tone white that has music all over it, just kind of like yours, but it's very subtle, but I wanted to carry that theme on because I thought it was so much fun. And I think all of your music guys are gonna really, really appreciate this. Now, your #2 is gonna go right here where you see all of the cream. And then for your #3, we have put a smaller scale music note also on black, but it kind of mimics yours just a little bit, but on a much smaller scale. And this works because it's gonna go right here. I think it's really cool how it mimics all of your movement, but it works because it's that smaller scale. And I really like the way the black and the white go together. It has a really good punch to it, and the color really comes off the surface, which I love. I think it turned out so amazing, Janet. I think it's a little bit of an edgy pattern, which kind of picks up this fun modern music print that you have. I think that the white contrasts so beautifully with your fabric and the #3 with that black. Kind of thought whenever I put this fabric in your pattern that it almost looked like guitars there. So you've got the body of the guitar and then that long piece that kind of mimics the neck or the fret of the guitar. I just kind of thought it was kind of cool. So I really, really liked the way it turned out. All right, so Janet, thank you so much for sending in your fabric. I hope you and your granddaughter both love it. And for participating, we are going to be sending you 1 yard of the #2, 1 yard of the #3 as well as the book Big Block 3-Yard Quilts that has the perspectives pattern in it. I'm so happy that Janet sent in the fabric because she inspired this kit. I love the way this came together. Look at this #1 fabric. It's also on black like Janet's fabric. It has lots of music notes on it, but it also has like these neon outlines of guitars all over it. Love it. It's our focus fabric. It is going to go in our big rectangle block here so that you can really see it. And remember what I said about Janet's, how it kind of looks like a guitar? Well, this fabric has that guitar on it. I think it kind of mimics the piecing of the quilt, which is super cool. All right, for our #2, we've chosen the same tone on tone with the music notes on it. It goes in our background. And then we've picked up our same #3, which is a really small scale music note here with all those swirls and everything on it. And that is going to go where you see the black here. And it has a very similar feel to Janet's, but that bold guitar motif on our focus fabric really shows up in that big block, and that contrast is still there. Keeps it just a little bit edgy, which I kind of like for a music theme. All right, the kit information on this one is marching band. It is our perspectives pattern from Big Block 3-Yard Quilts. Now, Joan sent in our next fabric, and it is really, really beautiful. We have a light blue background with all of these different style teapots on it. We have a little chinoiserie here. We have a little Victorian style, all different kinds. Like this one makes me think of an English teapot. Very, very fun, and it's very pretty. A couple of things on this fabric. It is a larger scale, so we'll have to pick a larger scale block, and it is directional, so I needed to keep that in mind whenever I was picking a fabric. But before we look at the quilt, let's read what Joan has to say about this fabric. Joan writes, "Dear Fabric Matchmaker, aka Fran, about 10 years ago, my best friend Ronnie introduced me to quilting. Though we lived in different parts of the country, we would get together several times a year and make quick weekend projects together. Ronnie had a beautiful quilting studio, which she named Sip and Stitch, combining her love of tea and quilts. In June of 2022, my precious friend of 42 years suddenly passed away. After her memorial celebration, I sat in the Sip and Stitch and reminisced about our friendship and the fun times we had working on quilts together. I then spotted this teapot fabric, which she had purchased many years ago, but did not know what to do with it. Fran, I would love to make a 3-yard quilt in memory of my beautiful friend, whom I miss dearly, to display in the Sip and Stitch studio. Many thanks." Well, Joan, I think we have something very, very special to work your fabric into. Let's go check that out. Joan, your fabric is going to look amazing in our treasured pattern. We have a nice big rectangle here that's going to really show off your fabric. I think it's going to really be able to shine through. And it's alternated with our #3 fabric that's going to also look great in that square. Now, these squares are made with a quick stitch and flip on all 4 corners. And then we've just sashed them as well as sashed between the rows. Now what this means is there's no seams for you to match. So this quilt is going to go together really, really fast. And you know what else it means? You're going to be able to very comfortably sip and stitch and put this together with fewer errors. Now, Joan, we have put your teapot fabric in our #1 position on our treasured quilt, and that is where this blue floral is here. Now, as I mentioned at the quilt, this is a nice size block here, so it's really going to help show off your teapots in this, which I think is really important here because it is the whole memory of your dear friend that her teapots, she sipped and stitched, which is just lovely. So that's going to work perfect there. This can accommodate the directional fabric, so no worries. For our #2, we kept it very, very simple. This is a tone-on-tone white, but it actually looks like lace, which I really like because I think it kind of keeps that feeling of the tea and the teapots. It's very elegant, and that is going to go everywhere you see the cream here on this quilt. Now for our #3, I chose this blue and white floral. I really liked this floral, and I picked it up because I thought it mimicked some of the teapots in the fabric. This quilt also has a nice big spot for our number 3 fabric, so I wanted to pick something that had a little bit more interest. So this blue is going to go right here. So what we'll have is a nice blue floral here, and then you're alternated with your teapots. I think it really turned out sweet, and I think that this is going to make a beautiful memory quilt for your friend in her Sip and Stitch studio. As you can see, we've alternated those colors in that. You can see all of the teapot shining through. I also really like that the teapots are on that nice wide border so that you can get a little touch of them peeking through on the border. The blue is a printed fabric, gives lots of interest, but it also really anchors it with that smaller border in there. I think it turned out really sweet. So Joan, for participating today, we are going to be sending you 1 yard of your number 2 and 1 yard of your number 3 fabric to coordinate with yours, as well as the book Double Focus. And this book has the treasured pattern in it. So thank you so much. Now, let's see what Joan has inspired for the rest of us. So I'm just absolutely tickled that I was able to find a fabric that has a similar feel to Joan's fabric. So for our focus here, we have pots, beautiful blue and white pots with our tulips in it. We have some dishes in the background. And yes, there's a little bit of a teapot in there, which is really perfect. Now this is our fabric number 1. It is going to go everywhere the blue floral is on this quilt. We've paired it with the same number 2 as Joan's with that white on white that looks like lace. It really is a pretty fabric. It is going to be your sashing here in between each block and the rows. And then for our number 3, we have that blue and white fabric that goes in the big alternate rectangle there. I love the way this turned out. I love the way that this has the tulips in it in the different colors. The blue and white is still there, and that number 3 really anchors it, but it's still so interesting. Really love the way this one turned out. This is a really special quilt, and I really love that Joan is making it as a memory for her friend. Now we can all make it for a special memory for ourselves as well. Now the kit information on this is called Sip and Stitch. The pattern is treasured, and it's from our Double Focus 3-yard quilts book. Now this very cool fabric was sent in by Linda, and it is books. It looks like books on a bookshelf, not just any bookshelf, but like an antique bookshelf full of treasures just waiting for us to come and open them up and read them. I think this is the coolest thing. But what's neat too is there's so much color going on, and each little book has a little piece of art in it that just is so interesting. This fabric is one of those fabrics that when you work it up into a quilt, you're going to be looking at the quilt as you've got it wrapped around you, because there's so many neat little things here. All right, let's find out what Linda has to say about this fabric. Linda writes, "Hi Fran, isn't this fabric gorgeous? I just had to have it as I have always loved books. My grandma had many of these titles in her library. She'd sit me on her lap and read to me. Now I need your good eye for design. It's directional, it's detailed, and has a long repeat. Please help me find the right colors. By the way, I'm teaching my niece to quilt using your 3-yard quilt book, Quick and Easy." Well, Linda, this is awesome. I love the fact that you found a fabric with books that your grandmother had. I think that's amazing. And I think it's amazing that you're teaching your granddaughter how to quilt. Thank you, using 3-yard quilts. All right. I have something really cool for you. Let's go check out the quilt that we've chosen. Now this is our Elegance pattern, and Linda, I think your books are gonna work great in this pattern. This is why. We have a big block here that will accommodate a directional fabric, and it's gonna really give you lots of space to see those books. Now we've snowballed the corners on this block, and that is super easy to do. Our alternate block, so simple. What's really cool about this block is that we have a strip piece here, a strip piece in the middle, and then another strip piece down here. They are sewn together with a solid piece, so there's no seams to match there. The only seams that you're gonna have to match is when you put your rows together right at the corner of your blocks. Now this alternate block also is gonna accommodate a little bit of a print, which is great. Let's get it on the table. I'm very excited to share the fabric. Now Linda, you're probably watching this going, you put this in the Elegance pattern? You bet we did, and I cannot wait to show you the image and this fabric that we found to go with this. It looks amazing. So first, we have your book fabric. That is a large scale print that is directional. So a very good eye on that. I'm glad you picked up on that. This is going to be your focus fabric, and it's going to go in this large area here. It's a big enough block that it's really going to be able to showcase a lot of these books so that you can see the titles, see the beautiful art, and that it's like a bookshelf. So for our number 2, I found this fabric that has pages from inside books, which I thought was perfect. Now this is going to go in the alternate block here. Now this still has a nice size space, so you want something that's going to be able to coordinate with your focus fabric and still have a little bit of interest. And I thought these book pages were perfect. They're a little bit of a tone on tone, so they're not going to draw away from the beautiful colors in your fabric, but they're going to hold their own in the alternate block, which I think is perfect. All right, then for our number 3, we have chosen a brown that has some texture to it, which I love. The reason why I did this is 1, I didn't want to pull away from any of the bright colors in the books, and 2, I wanted it to kind of mimic a bookshelf, because a bookshelf would typically be like a nice wooden stained, like in a library, and I wanted it to kind of have that feel. So we've put that number 3 fabric everywhere. The blue is on this quilt, a little bit on our snowball corners as well, so that it kind of looks like you're peeking into a library. I think it turned out so cute. I love the way the books are in that alternate block, the book pages there. It just kind of falls backwards and you're kind of peeking into another dimension almost. It's very cool. And those books are all neatly stacked in the main snowball block there. I think it's just so, so cute. Very fun pattern. I think it works really well. And I love, love, love your book fabric. Very good. Well, for participating, and I appreciate it so much for you sending it in, we are going to be sending you 1 yard of your number 2 and your number 3 fabric, as well as the book Big Block 3-Yard Quilts. This has the Elegance pattern in it for you. Now, this fun fabric that we found, you're probably thinking, no, I want the same fabric that Linda has. Guess what? We were able to find the exact match. And these books are amazing. And of course, it is our focus fabric going in our big block here. We've got those same pages for our number 2 going in our background, and our wonderful textured number 3 in this rich brown color to kind of mimic that bookshelf going in our number 3 position where the blue is here. So let me get the kit information for all of you out there. It is called Grandma's Library, and it is the Elegance pattern from Big Block 3-Yard Quilts. Now I want to take just a minute and give a shout out to Leisha. She sent in fabric that was included in our Matchmaker episode 3, and she sent in an adorable Mary Engelbright inspired fabric, and we used that in the number 1 position. We put it in Time Machine, and look what she did with it. She has increased the size of it. It's so nice. Wow, I love the way this came together. I love that nice warm golden beige in the background, the black surrounding every other block. Absolutely perfect. Leisha, you did a great, great job with this. Thank you so very much for sending in a photo. And I want to thank everyone that participated today. I think you guys have such great taste and have such good fabric. If you would like to have us match your fabric, then head on over to our website, fabriccafe.com. Check out the free goodies tab, and in the tips and guide sheet section, you'll find the Matchmaker submission form. Download, print that form out, and send it to us completely filled out with your stories and a fabric swatch. If you would like even more fabric matching tips, be sure to watch the video that pops up. It's Fran Morgan, your fabric matchmaker.